Okay, I can be a little bit close. Is that?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great night. Happy Tuesday.
The automatic message always makes me feel like someone commented.
I know. Looks so weird. Yeah. I'm going to go share real fast. My voice feels better, so I feel like it took a whole week and a half for me to recover from Minnesota. So I feel much better today. Okay, let me see here. I'm a little blurry. Hello, you guys. If you are live with us, say hi. Let us know where you're watching us from. We will do some shout outs and please help us share. We're just sharing it to our personal page really quick and then we'll get started.
Hi, Chong.
From Wisconsin.
That's my brother's friend.
Hello. Thank you for watching.
He just got married recently.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Congrats.
Hi,
Hi, Hua from Minnesota. Hello. Yes. Congrats.
Very beautiful.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah, super. You know, marriage is a beautiful thing. So congratulations to you. That's awesome. We've got
Hi, Peachy. Hi, Sophia.
Sophia. Quaching. Hello. Good evening.
Is there anybody here from Minnesota? That's like our highest state. So, and I'm seeing a lot of.
Yes, we've got Hua from Minnesota.
Hua from Minnesota.
Oklahoma in the house. Hello. Hi, my name from Elk Grove. Yeah, you know, it's been a minute since I've looked at our stats to see where our highest views come from, but I don't think it's changed much. It's probably still Minnesota.
Yeah.
Hi. Mine's out from Minnesota. Are you like writing people's names down?
Huh? No, I have like my phone on the side.
Oh, gotcha. Hi, Kalia from Wisconsin.
It snowed in Minnesota today, so I'm assuming it snowed in Wisconsin as well, but it looks like a lot of snow.
You know what's so funny, Callie? I was looking at, like, when I was at work today, I was looking at my weather app, you know, and it said it was snowing out in Boring.
Really? Did it?
Yeah, but my husband said it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think it was lying. But we do have snow in the forecast here in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, so, we do? I hope it. Oh, I really hope we have a white Christmas.
I do too. The kids would love it, but you know, it might be too early unless it sticks around for a while. But it looks like it's snowing Wednesday night, Thursday.
Wait, this Wednesday?
Yeah.
No way.
Like Ducky.
What?
Ducky Chongdo-song.
But and Boring, because in Portland it doesn't show us it's snowing.
That's what it says, but girl, you know it's like 96% rain. So you know, probably not.
Well, hopefully for Christmas. Hopefully it'll come.
Yeah.
That would be so magical.
Yeah,
I remember because like I think in Georgia it has like we had like snowpocalypse. We called it snowpocalypse because it was crazy. It was wild. Like really? I was pregnant. Yes, I was pregnant with Mason and I was at a client and
this is in Georgia?
This is in Georgia.
Does it snow in Georgia? That's crazy.
Yeah, it snowed and
it's like humid down there.
It took me like 6 hours to get home. Like
that's crazy.
I was so hungry and I thought I was gonna stop by the mall to eat. Which I'm glad I didn't because then
how far was your work from home though?
It's probably like 45 minutes drive where I was like that client.
Yeah.
And then the next day, like, I mean, people are like sleeping in Kroger, like, you know, the grocery store, like people are just pulling off to the side. Like I seriously was just like, I'm never going to get home. I was so hungry. I was like pregnant. I mean, it was crazy, but
you were hangry.
I was.
Yeah. I remember one year we got snow. It wasn't even that bad, but New had to come pick me up. So it didn't take him long to come get me. But then when he got me, it took us 4 hours to get home. And this was like where, no, it's right by like Clackamas Town Center, because you know I used to work at the clinic there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it took us 4 hours to get home. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
lots of yelling and stuff. So you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sunny in Oklahoma. That's awesome. It's 68 degrees. And they no, not Joe. Today was raining here in Oregon. It's cold. I want to be in the Caribbean. So jealous.
Hi, Pauline from California.
Hello.
Thank you, my name. I'm glad you're loving it. Hi, Ming. Ooh, I cannot say that. How do you say Cachilia?
Cachilia, yep.
From Minnesota, but in the Caribbean. Oh, nice. What are you doing in the Caribbean? So my brother actually went to med school there for like he transferred out like and then he came back to the US to finish up. But I'm curious what school you're taking there. Let's see. Anybody else? Did I miss?
June Yang. Hello. It was nice to meet you. We've got John Gallier-Jean from Wisconsin. Hello. Okay, so I think we're ready, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so originally the plan was that we wanted to talk about postpartum depression today, but our guest was not able to join us, and so Callie and I decided that we still want to come on and talk to you guys because it's been a minute where it's just she and I talking about just random stuff. But tonight we actually have a pretty hot topic that we want to just kind of give our thoughts and get your guys' thoughts. We put a post out and some of you commented, and so we took some of your comments and we really want to kind of just discuss it. So this is going to be an engaging conversation. We would love for you guys to engage with us in the comments and let us know how you're feeling, what your thoughts are. But we are talking about pageantry today. There's just been a lot of stuff happening around pageants, right? We've got Miss Laos being Hmong. That put us on the map. And then we've got a positive thing there. And then we've got all of this noise yesterday over the weekend from Sacramento New Year about their pageant and all of that crazy stuff that's been like on Hmong Tea and Hmong Talk and just everyone sharing their thoughts on that. So we wanted to just kind of come on and talk about that and walk through that. So
yeah, and we have not verified anything. So we are not here to like say if something's true or not. We don't have, like facts. We haven't like, talked to somebody and gotten, so we're just merely presenting what we're seeing, what we're hearing. So just kind of a,
set the tone there.
Conversation. I just don't want us to get in trouble for like, slander or something. You know?
Yeah.
Spill the tea. I'm hoping you guys in the comment will spill the tea because we don't
even know the tea.
Yes.
We I tried doing some research, and when I say research, I mean just looking on Facebook, reading comments. That's research. Yeah, I mean we just kind of decided on this like right? Actually really this morning. On just like, hey, what do we want to do? Should we talk about this instead? And so we haven't really had time to like fact check anything. So just know that this is purely what we're seeing on Facebook, and then just our own thoughts on, I think just our own experience of just watching the Hmong pageants in the community for, since growing up and things like that. So just know that it's not fact checked. It's just us being us and kind of talking it through. So,
but if you do know something,
yeah,
or have something to add, definitely
Mm-hmm.
this is a very open, I'm not going to say safe because I don't know who's watching this, but this is a very open conversation, but I think definitely like a lot of the, conversations and stuff like that, I think it's still very good points for us to like talk about and see, what
Right.
can we do to, make it better or to enhance it, so that the contestants and the people who watch can feel like they're part of that process, and, how do we continue to make it better? Again, we are not part of anything, so we're not going to take this and make
we're not
anything
judges, we're not coordinators, we're not directors, we're not even invited to be judges. 我覺得 shy 人家說 stage 人家可能 shy mu 啲人家都係人家thought Jay shy mu so the experience is very different from us. But I think
fun.
you and I can pull back to like maybe 10 plus years ago where we did attend and we did see and talk about that. But
if you're part of any organization, we would love to judge, and offer our expertise in looking at pretty girls.
No, but again, I think pretty from the inside for me.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think that will be something that we'll talk about, because I do feel like as we try to have more inclusive pageants, right? I think a lot of the Hmong pageants, I do feel like they are pretty open to what that beauty looks like, because I feel like Mika pageants are, they are very thin, they're very pretty, they're very, and so
it's almost like the model world law.
Yeah,
like, you have
they
to be
look
like at least 5'5" and be like a size 0.
Right.
You have to look a certain way. So
yeah.
In that sense, I do agree with you that I feel like our Hmong community is a little bit more open to what beauty looks like.
Right.
Okay, so you want to talk about what's in the news, Callie?
Yes. So speaking of inclusivity, we thought that it was really cool that Miss, what is it? Why didn't I put the global beauty pageant organization? Yeah. So Anne, who is the CEO of Global JKN Global Group, is the first woman to own Miss Universe. Mm-hmm. And that is pretty amazing because she is transgender. And so I feel like that really opens up to hopefully more inclusivity and just being more open-minded about what beauty looks like, because I think that and she is the first woman to own it in its 71-year lifespan. And I feel like when you think about who is owning things and who is leading things, I feel like that tone at the top really goes down. So hopefully that means they might be more open-minded about who gets to compete and what we define as beauty, right? Because instead of that the tall, skinny, looking a certain way, really pretty face, hopefully we can look at beauty more than just what we see in the outside because of that leadership. So
yeah,
but the CEO and the president of Miss Universe are women too, and so it was Donald Trump was a co-owner, and so I'm not going to say anything about people's feelings on that, but again, I think that sets the tone for certain things when we talk about leadership. And so really hoping to just be able to see more open-mindedness about what beauty is defined as, and more variety.
Well, I think there's a couple things to celebrate here, right? One, it's that she's a transgender woman, and then the other is that you're Asian. Mm-hmm. That's a huge win.
Yes.
It's gonna be, hopefully you're right. I think we'll see it from a different lens of just leadership and ideas and creativity. And I'm excited to kind of see what the organization brings forth with this new ownership. When did she buy it? Was it just this past year?
Yeah, just this year. So that is pretty amazing. Guess how much she bought it for?
I don't know. I see the number on there, but I want you guys to guess.
I know. Guess how much she bought it for. So Anne bought Miss Universe for this dollar amount. It's pretty crazy.
Well, it's the Miss Universe, like it includes like Miss US. What is it? I saw it on the it includes not just Miss Universe, but a couple of other ones too. Anyway, it's more than just Miss Universe. It's like all the Miss, which includes Miss USA pageant, Miss Universe, and I think like Miss Teen USA or Miss something. I don't remember. Yeah.
But still a very sizable amount. So June says 10 billion. No.
Yeah, that's way too much.
I know, 20 billion. That's crazy. Yeah. Or 10 billion. That's crazy. Let's see. MC says, let me know if you want me to translate. She's super rich. Yes, she is. Which again, like Olivia says, that is like kudos to her, and like especially as a transgender too. I think that's like super empowering for us as women to hear that, because you know she already has a lot of things going against her, and like the fact that she is, I mean, it's just super empowering. Bad Modern Woman says 5 million. So it's higher than that. It's 20 million, which again, that is quite a sum of money. So
that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I think it'll be exciting to kind of see, like what they do with that. Like, as you said, like the different competitions too, to see if there's any, just changes and things like that. And then of course, Pageantry is Miss Universe Laos, which is amazing. I think Hmong women has just been like,
killing it.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing, especially in Laos, where we know that, our own history with that country. And so I think getting to see that is, quite victorious for Hmong people. And then we wanted to talk about the Sacramento Hmong New Year, and we have a comment here from My Name, and so super long, so I won't pull it up. But My Name says, I read the comments on Hmong Salsi and didn't make comment on anyone's opinion accusations. However, there was one comment that I did comment on. I am the trainer for Miss Hmong California 2023. Go. Ooh, what is that? Is it Golia? Golia, but I was discredited for my hard work. Someone said the pageant coordinator and her sister trained my girl. When someone puts their heart and soul into training a pageant contestant, the credit should not be given to someone else. I also trained Miss Hmong California 2019, Mina Het. She took the crown too, and I was discredited as well. So sad.
Aww.
So can you expand on that, My Name? Are you saying that they got it wrong, or like were you not given credit at all?
Well, then who took credit?
Yeah,
that's so unfortunate. I think there's so many things that go into the pageant world when we talk about y'all trainer, not y'all. I mean, I don't know exactly what type of work they do, but I feel like just from what I've seen, like a lot of work does kind of go into it, whether that's just like makeup or the way they talk. Yeah. Because honestly, not everybody can talk the pageant way. I know people make fun of it, but like it's so hard. And it does take practice. And so, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. But it's unfortunate that you didn't get credit, My Name.
Yeah, that really is. But hopefully that's just like people getting, like mistaken and stuff like that. So hopefully you got credit, and I'm sure the contestants were very thankful, and everybody knows in the end who did what. So
So obviously in our post that we put, there were some comments on there, and we just kind of wanted to read that and share that and then have a discussion. Kelly, I'm going to read off the first one, okay? So this one says, it's entertainment and business venture for the event host. For the young ladies, it's deceiving to use it to talk about empowerment. Personally, I think it's insulting to have you walk on stage and have people validate your worth by giving you points. Postpartum, did you know what?
Don't sorry, don't read that. That was a part that was not taken off.
Good job, Callie. Okay, so he's saying, personally, I think it's insulting to have you walk on stage and have people validate your worth by giving you points. What are your thoughts on that, Callie?
So, I never, so my dad would have never he never let me do pageants or like cheerleading or anything like that. Yeah. And so I think I grew up feeling like, just feeling that way about pageants, about how for myself, I do enjoy like watching, like Miss Universe and, watching the past and pageants. But I do feel like the standards are based on other people's, and I guess because I do feel like a person is more than what they look as well. And so, and that's not to like, discourage people from entering different competitions, because I do feel like, if you enter it, you can really catapult like your platform and be able to do more with it. And I do feel like a lot of the young ladies do that, right? Like enter it. And unfortunately the world is just such that people do, like there's this idea that pretty people or better looking people like get more in life, and so I think it is a great way for those who have like a voice that they want to or like a passion or something they want to talk about, like be able to have that platform based on that look. So hopefully they are using that. Like I saw this one that was being shared, you might have seen it, about she's like a child of divorced parents, and then in her post she talked a little bit about that, and I haven't gone back to listen to what she said on stage, but like I think that was just really nice to hear that she's able to kind of define who she is as a child of divorce, being on a stage where she can have a louder voice than if she had just done a post, right? Like now it's like people know her, and I think that she's touching a lot of people who might feel a certain way about how they're defined. And so I think that it's a great way to have an automatic platform, to win it and then have an automatic platform. But I myself, like I think you have to like have thick skin and be strong to not let people affect you, because I think it can affect you negatively, right? Like because people do just look at you and base your worth and value based on just what you look like, and I'm like the comparison game too, right? You're standing up there with all these other beautiful women, and it's like you're thinking about everything, about like your hair, your makeup, your clothes, everything. And so I think like I personally wouldn't be strong enough to even get on stage and stand with all the beautiful women. But so I think it's just what you do with it.
It's funny you should say that, because a couple things. I feel like I have seen our Hmong community before where if a maybe she's not like the prettiest of all out of the contestants, or maybe she's thicker than a lot of the girls. I have seen where people just trash that person because of their weight and the way that they look, and so I think people can be very cruel. So you do have to have thick skin. And then the other that I've heard a lot with the platform, as you say it, is that you should sometimes tell you don't see any results from what they promised they were going to do. I've seen a lot of people talk about that throughout the years of singing Go and Joanna, right? Like La Ying, but what are they doing with that platform? A lot of people say they promised XYZ and they don't deliver. About like looking in from the outside, you don't know if they've delivered it. That's just what people say on social media. And so that could be very detrimental to someone's mental health, because they do try so hard, but without the support of the people or maybe the organization, right? It's hard to accomplish certain things. And so I think for us, because we don't really know what happens after they win, right? What kind of support they get after they win. All we see is just what's on social media. So I feel like it's hard to say whether someone is using their platform for the greater good or not, because just because, they don't, I think it's much easier to showcase it now because we have social media. Right. But back in the day, like less than maybe even 10 years ago, right? Like it was much harder, I feel like, for people to just get on a Facebook Live and ask for donations or talk about certain things or do a GoFundMe for their cause or whatever it may be. So I feel like in the last couple of years, we've changed a bit. But before, those were the two main things that I've seen happen a lot, where when you talk to people, they always say, oh, but they didn't even do anything. Or, oh, she's not even pretty. She's just so fat, So, you do have to have really thick skin, because there are some really mean people out there who will not side with you and will judge you. I mean, you're putting yourself out there to be judged, period. Mm-hmm. So it makes it difficult for sure.
Yeah, I was actually just before the show, I was thinking about what you were saying, because but like I was like having this internal conversation with myself, because I was feeling like, do these women actually do anything? But like you said, we don't actually know, right? Like just because, and sometimes it's like the in a different state, right? Like they're already going to their community, they're doing all these things, and not all of it always gets put on Facebook, right? Just like, you just don't even know what people are working on quietly, and they might already be, doing a lot of great things that, we just don't know about, but we are automatically assuming that because we don't know about it, they're not doing anything. And so, I definitely feel like, I think, a lot of them do try. And then I think a lot of them also, I mean, they are so young, right? Like when I think about how young they are, and just the fact that when I was at that age, like I didn't know anything, right? And so it's hard. I think when you're older, I think you have to give a little bit of grace to the younger people, because they are just experiencing life for the first time, and like, how you carry out a project or, like a promise, like what that all entails. And
well, some of them are like 15, 16, like back, I feel like now you see a lot more of like the early 20-year-olds entering pageants. But like back in the day when I used to watch pageants all the time during New Year, that's what you look forward to. So 16, 17 is like old. Right. Older, right? But now looking back, it's like they are barely just starting. They don't have connections. It's not like in today's world where everything is easily accessible, So it's definitely tough. I mean, I personally know that when I won't name who this person is, just because, out of privacy, but when this person won, I mean, people talked so much crap about her. It was ridiculous, because she wasn't the thinnest of them all. But it went from like the way she looked to the things that she didn't do. And so it's almost like, but she did do all that. She did deliver what she promised. It's just that she didn't plaster it all over social media, but she did go and like put a drive together and went overseas to help, poor villages of Hmong that's filled with Hmong people there, so it's just kind of like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean they're not doing it. So I do feel bad for them sometimes.
I remember having this conversation with a friend, and I think the way that they had put this was like regarding who they feel like is the most qualified to represent, you know, the winner. And they had said, like, if I were like, if somebody asked me who the winner was, like, who would I be most proud of, you know, because they like this specific case, they were talking about somebody that they didn't feel like was qualified because, like you said, they were not the thinnest, they were not the, I think it was their talent that got them far, and maybe a little bit more popularity of their talent. But like through theming, you know, that person did not feel like, you know, that winner was deserving of that, which, you know, again, I think inclusivity, and like when we talk about empowering women and not just basing it off like, you know, this ideal that is really like a man's idea of what beauty is, right? Versus like what we as women view as beauty, which is more than just what's on the outside and how a person looks. It's a lot of different things. And so I think that the idea of like, you know, a skinny or like, you know, proportionate, you know, like those things are ideals, but they're not actually like what's, you know, that's not representative of women.
Yeah. I know. So some of our viewers have questions. You want to answer that before we go to the next comment on our post?
Yep. So this one's regarding our shirt. So Zhang asked, so you ladies creating all that talk t-shirt with just your platform name, not the Balai merch. Olivia? Yeah, so she has an all that talk shirt, which is on our website. So Zhang, definitely check it out. But we will send you the links after the episode. And then let's see. Sophia Mua said the pageant competition has now changed and girls have a voice. We definitely, I've definitely seen that where they do take it away. Now, again, I don't know what the support is for them, y'all, like, because I don't know what the prizes are, but I would think it's not like it's a big sum of money that you can then use over the year or whatever. And so I think you have to like have connections and like have sponsors and stuff like that, because everything you do does still cost money. I mean, you know, like the makeup, the hair, like all, you know, and all those things to get you prepared for it, right? Like all of those things cost money. And so if you don't have that, then I think it'd be very hard to do that and then to carry out all the things that you have promised. So hopefully, you know, like we can have more businesses that will sponsor these young ladies that can really help them do something, because I do think that, you know, it does, you know, again, create that platform for them that they can hopefully be able to use and learn and grow as a young woman.
Well, I think it goes both ways too. I think even for businesses to sponsor, they have to feel like there's some value in sponsoring that person, right? Like whether it's exposure or promotions of any marketing, whatever it is, because I feel like, you know, like I feel like marketing was so much different back then, and I don't know how much value, you know, people got from sponsoring, but I think even so now, I feel like we haven't done the best job in delivering that, and so I feel like there's a lot of potential for growth still. I feel like in the sponsorship world for sure, but it has changed a lot over the years.
So MC asked, what are your thoughts about the age limitation and marriage status for pageant contestants or for pageant contests?
I mean, if you compare it to like the Mika pageantry, it's missed for a reason, right? Like, let's tell you see. I don't know about the kids stuff for the Mika, for like Miss USA and Miss Universe and stuff, but I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what like the age limitations are, but I think I totally agree. It's you know, like I have never had the desire to go and compete as, you know, like even as a divorcee, I don't have the desire to go, you know, and I think it's, I really like the idea of like the younger ladies, because I feel like there's so much like hope for them, and like just so much, you know, like that when you're young and you just have wide eyes and you just, you know, like want to try everything and do everything. And so I think it's really fun to like be able to watch that and see the growth and things like that. And so I think with I could sworn there was like a
there is for older women,
and I thought there was one for like married. Isn't there like a Mrs., you know?
Yeah, it's not as well known as like the Miss USA, Miss whatever. But I think even for Hmong people, if we did one for like Doña Chena, right? People who are married, I honestly don't know if a lot of people would go for that. I guess it just really depends on what are you going to get out of it. As J, if you go and you do it and you win, like, what do you do?
Right.
Right? Well, no, I say that because, in our culture, like married women, they're kind of like, shamed for a lot of things. It's almost like you can't have, we're slowly changing, which I think is good. But I think we still have a long ways to go in regards to if you were married and you put yourself in a pageant and you win, like, what do you do? Do you, and how would people view you? Which I guess it doesn't really matter if you have a purpose, but I think we still have a long ways to go on that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm like not for it, but I'm not against it. I'm kind of neutral, I guess, because you don't know what you don't know until someone does it, and you're like, oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
So,
so Mufu asked, what are both your opinions about answering questions like a robot?
I would have to like see an example, Mufu. I feel like usually when your question, I don't feel like it's robotic. Maybe it's like the tone that they use, because I feel like with pageants, everybody has like the same tone in how they talk. Because I think it takes them practice to get there, right? You have to, like like I always hear like let you hide. They just don't say the word. I feel like they dance around the word a lot. Like it's storytelling, right? Like when they what word is it? Like I hear people say it all the time. I'm trying to think. And this is not normal words that you would say, right? Like oh yes, la li ju yi. I'm like just say G. Like I mean I don't know, but I feel like no one will ever just go around saying that. So it does take practice, but I don't really feel like anyone is ever really robotic. But that's just me.
I mean, I do feel like the answers are like very I mean, it is kind of like cookie cutter answers.
Yeah, it's very like yeah, I feel like it doesn't allow someone to like do critical thinking. Because it's almost the same every year.
But I do feel like if you answer it any differently, then you will probably get bashed too, right? So it's kind of like you all right? If you're too much yourself, then people would be like, oh, like that's not a good answer, right? But then if you're kind of cookie cutter, then people would be like, well, you sound just like everyone else. So honestly, unfortunately, Mufu, I just feel like it's let's tell. And so I do think it is terrifying to like public speaking is like number one fear. And so I can't imagine like being up there and I'm assuming that they have questions that they like are kind of have looked in the past and seen those questions, but it's kind of like an interview, right? Like a job interview. Like you don't really know what they're going to ask and you think you're going to say certain things, but you get up there. Do you remember when they had like Miss it's an American pageant, but I don't know, was Miss California, and she was answering the question and it was like all over the place, and then it became like a meme like for a while. Do you remember that at all?
I don't.
I'll have to look for it, but I think it's probably super scary to be up there and to try to answer and not, because you do have to be like politically correct too, right? Because you
There's
don't
so
want
much
to stand up there and like offend anybody, because if you're too much like yourself or you're too like not cookie cutter, then you run the chance of like offending something.
Agreed.
Where did I leave?
You're at Mangoli after Mufu.
Let's see. Okay. So how do you feel about the pageant girls responding in English? Do you feel like times have changed and we are losing our native language, or should speaking Hmong be a requirement?
Okay, this is just me, but I feel like if you're entering a Hmong pageant, that you should answer in Hmong, but that's just me. I do feel like if I think one of the requirements is that you need to fully understand Hmong. I had thought I read somewhere where that was a requirement, but maybe I'm wrong. But I do feel like you should at least try, even if go hai chi ming you know, we do try when we say we're going to speak Hmong and we have a guest who is like Hmong is their preference in language, that we do really do try, right? So I feel like even if it's not perfect, that you do try. But if you're entering like a American pageant, I mean, you could do whatever. But I think for John and Gonjua and our Hmong community, I do feel like they should speak Hmong. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I so then is that, you know, inclusive? I don't know, right?
I don't know. I
So
mean, I think it goes back to you are entering a Hmong pageant, right? Có tí Hmong này, right?
yeah,
So I think it also then hopefully encourages us to teach our kids Hmong too.
yeah,
Because again, even if go hai lu chi ming law, you need to at least try, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all we could ask for.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm curious to see if like maybe that is some of the reasons why there's not a lot of contestants too, right? Because that has been like that. The number of contestants have declined, and
so much.
Yeah, the popularity of what it means and the requirements and like the, you know, how people view it, you know, is changing, and so
yeah. Well, and I think that's it. Maybe, you know, maybe we do need to change it to where maybe that's not an expectation anymore, right? Because the numbers of contestants have gone down tremendously, right? I think I remember Taoe, when I used to watch it a lot, it was like 12, 15, 18 contestants. Now it's like you're barely cutting 5.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, really unfortunate. But
did Portland used to have a pageant?
Portland had pageants for 2 years. I think the first year there was like 8 or 9 girls, and the year after it's probably like, I don't know, 5 to 8, something around there.
Yeah.
But you know, we don't have, Portland's a small community. I think that we always try to be like everyone else because, you know, they're bigger, but we just don't have enough people to do a pageant every year.
Yeah. Do you know, is there like a Miss Hmong USA?
I think that's the Fresno one, no?
Oh, is that considered? Because that would be kind of cool if like all the states did it, and then there was like you know, like the different states coming. You know,
they do. I feel like back in the day that they do that, right? Like when the person who won Miss Oregon, when she won, they did send her down to Fresno to compete.
Oh,
yeah, but I don't know if that's still the thing now. But
yeah,
I know
I feel like that would be kind of cool because it builds up to it, y'all. And I think there's more value in that versus like Utili Ying, and then there's no support from anything else. There's no like further competition to kind of dialing that up, right? So
here's the thing too. Like, I know someone who like won Miss whatever, or no, sorry. She was like 2nd or 3rd place in her city. And then she went and competed in Fresno and won. You know, so it's almost like, so she wasn't good enough for her town, but she was good enough for the big one. You know? I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Sophia said, oh my gosh, I think it went down. Let's see. Did I?
You're Sophia Moa. She says, I really feel like the organization needs to step up and support the girls to help in the community and education. I completely agree with you, Sophia. I don't know what they do now, or what they did in the past, or what they're planning to do. But just kind of hearing how people talk about some of the winners, I feel like they could do more. If they were doing stuff before, I feel like they could do more. And maybe they are, and we just don't know about it because, you know, they're not transparent or they don't share. But I certainly do feel like they could do more.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it depends on like, like each girl and their connection, y'all. Like if you you know,
but that's part of the purpose of winning though, right?
Yeah.
Is so then you can get those connections and you
Yeah.
can get to that network and build on whatever cause it is that you're fighting for on your platform. So I do feel strongly that if organizations are asking for girls to come on and compete, then back them and support them if they win. And even the ones that didn't win, right? Like it still takes a lot. So either way, there still needs to be something that continues to support these girls.
Yeah.
Or guys, you know, because now Lamoy, what do you call those?
Mr. Charming.
Yeah.
Who I think Tamara is on, and I think he was a Mr. Charming. So we love to hear your thoughts. Thank you to Mango Lee for the 50 stars.
Yes, thank you.
So Sang and Chulor says, I think it's the quality of the judges as well, which is topics. Because yeah, I mean, and so we did have a comment, or do we have a comment about the judges? But that was something that we had wanted to talk about because of the whole thing with Sacramento Hmong New Year's pageant, right? It was like apparently one of the judges was the winner. One of the judges was the winner's aunt or something like that. And of course people are saying, well, we're all related somehow. Yeah. But then there's like closeness or, just making sure that, that again, I think it's like the appearance, right? So even if someone is related, then you do, there's a conflict of interest. And for, people on the outside, it's really what they see and perceive. Sometimes it's not even actual, but I think that the organization for the integrity of the organization and for people to feel at peace, I feel like you do have to vet out the judges and make sure that there's no tie or like that you do have that distance and that the appearance of any connection like that, there's space between that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and for them to understand like the criterion of judging too, and not just like, be biased. Like if the scorecard says these things, like let's really grade on these things instead of saying, oh, like, but this one's prettier or unusual, like being biased.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have seen where it's so funny that it happens in such a big town, but I think even in Portland, when the one year that they did it, everyone here is freaking related, okay? Literally, that you've been here for quite a bit of time. And when this person won, everyone was like, it's rigged. I'm like, yeah, but if any other girls won, it would still be rigged because we're all related. Yeah. We all know each other. And so I think it's just a matter of like who would best represent us based on education and just how she is as a person. But it's I feel like it's always so murky there. It's a tough one.
Yeah. And like, I mean, if that's the case, then I think really looking to find judges, because I mean, I know that it's always hard, right? When we talk about volunteers in the community, like people burn out really fast when they've been volunteering for a while, and some people feel like they're not qualified to. But I think really setting up a system that allows people to, come and judge and for people to feel like it's fair, because I do feel like if you are trying your best to make it to set it up so that it's fair, then I feel like people will be a little bit more at least at peace with that.
Well, California and Minnesota, Callie and I don't know a lot of people there, so we're just saying
we're very open to judging. I think that would be a lot of fun to just to be able to like sit and hear each of the ladies.
Well, and I think it's so different, like when you are judging versus because you're really focused and concentrated on their platform and what they have to say and what they're kind of fighting for. So
yeah, for sure. So my name says people are saying that my pageant girl won because it was rigged because she was trained. Wait, so is your okay? So my name, I think your girl, is this the girl that we are talking about, right? So people are saying that my pageant girl won because it was rigged because she was trained by the pageant coordinator. Miss Hmong, California 2023 is the 7th pageant girl I have trained. 3 out of 7 took the title and 4 of them were first or second runner-up. I don't need to be credited. I didn't train these girls so I can be credited. However, don't go saying that the girl won because she's trained by XYZ and then said it's rigged. Gotcha.
Girl, that's the tea that everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, so I guess apparently there was some wrong information, and maybe again, I think it's perception. Y'all, like people don't have probably all the facts, and they're making assumptions, and then one thing leads to another. And because I think, like I remember seeing just pictures and people saying, "Oh, this is this person's," and so you don't even know if like that picture is from something else. And so but it's true. No matter who wins. There's always that question because we are all so related, unfortunately.
Yeah. But, I think like you said, you do have to vet it to where it is like there is that distance because, like if you and I are here and you enter a pageant and I'm judging, there obviously will be bias there. Let's just be real, right? Like there will be, to anybody. So I think it's important for us to do a good job at vetting our judges, making sure that they aren't like tied to anyone, at least in the sense where they are very close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then saying in Shualor, modern judges would choose modern Hmong girls and will recognize the ones who's memorized cookie cutter speeches. Yeah, I think because as a judge, like you have your own bias, and so I think it would be hard to like completely remove that, and whether people say, I'm coming in with like clear conscience, and I'm not looking at anything other than what's presented in front of me and what happens from this day to this day. But I think that bias is still going to happen where like if you have seen them in the past or they do something that connects with you or that then I think it would be very easy to be like, oh, like, you want to give them more points. But, hopefully, like as a judge,
you have to check yourself constantly when you're a judge for that bias, for sure.
Agree. Ooh, nè hai ngữ bao vậy?
Oh, nhưng dùng khí vậy em không đâu của interview ít không cầu đi hả? Because you do go in and you're like looking for a specific personality. You're looking for, a specific way of how they handle conflict, right? And so you go in with like this ideal person already. And the minute someone walks in, like that first impression, right? Like it makes a huge difference. And so I think we all go in with our biases. And so we do have to check ourselves a lot.
Yeah, totally true. Mining adds, I totally agree with you. And this was in the comment about the organizations needing to step up and support. So she says, I totally agree with you. Most of the girls that took the title tried to fulfill their mission, but received no support. And then it looks like they didn't fulfill their platform.
Yes.
And I think that's because that support can really come from anybody, y'all. Like it can even come from any of us. Like if we, like see someone who's won and, if we feel like they're doing something good, like sharing or finding ways that we can like support them. Like I think any of us could really do that because again, these are young ladies, like think back to like when you're in your early 20s that you don't know anything.
I see people doing like car washes. That's still a thing, I see people like selling calendars. I'm guilty, you guys. Like, don't more calendar. I'm guilty of that. So I think we all just need to do a better job at like instead of complain, sure, but be a part of the solution. Help support.
Yes, agree. Saying ads, cookie cutter answers are so boring. But okay. So okay. Do you remember that video that was going around about this is an old video, right? And then she's like, yo, your samu like what do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so this is an old video. And so like I think the question was like, what would you want to do if you won? And she's like, I want to go back to Laos.
That's a cookie cutter question.
And bomb. And I I want to go back to Laos with General Bang Pao and bomb like, that country. Like
That's crazy.
That video? So that is not a cookie cutter answer.
No.
It's pretty hilarious. But that was not cookie cutter. That was definitely not boring at all. But like,
was that really a pageant answer, or was that just someone doing a meme?
No, it was it was a pageant. I'll have to try to see.
Did they win?
I'm not sure. If you have seen that video, please let us know in the comments, because I've never seen that, and it was hilarious. But at the time, I think it was probably one of the earlier ones, and so I think people are still very passionate about what has happened in our history and things like that. And
that's crazy.
I know, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sophia says, I think when they answer the questions, it is like scripted. I mean,
like in practice, you guys, like, we don't know how much effort they put in, because I'm telling you, like what I was saying earlier, okay? So you do have to really like practice, and so I don't know. I feel like, yes, it's scripted because it's practiced so much, but at the same time, that's kind of what has been the thing for pageants, that they have this certain way that they talk, and the tone and the Hmong vocabulary is just wide. It's not our everyday conversation. So it seems odd and out of place, but it's very normal in the pageantry world.
Right. And I mean, I think speaking in public, when you watch somebody else, you were always gonna feel like, oh, they should have said this or that, but you should. Exactly. Like and again, it's just like, like I'm older now, and so if I were that age and that young, like, that's, I probably couldn't answer like that, and so I think having that grace and understanding that these are, if we're like in our 30s and 40s and 50s, of course, you and sitting comfortably at home on the couch, of course you would have the perfect answer. But then, these are young ladies with, like,
that's questionable. That's questionable on whether we're going to have the perfect answer.
I know, even at this age, right? So Tamara says, and this is a former Mr. Charming. Correct me, Tamara, if I'm wrong, but I believe that's correct. From my experience, yes, a lot of people steer away from pageantry nowadays because they lack the Hmong vocabulary and pronunciation.
Yes.
And hopefully people can feel more open. I think sometimes when we talk about like speaking, people do get nervous because, again, like, if somebody went up there and try and kind of failed, we would laugh, and that would discourage people. So I think it's understanding that, like, people are trying, and that, even if they don't say it correctly, like, we do need to be supportive. Instead of, making fun, because people hear about that and then nobody wants to answer.
I honestly, when Tamara speaks Hmong to me, because and I'm over here like, oh,
so Teresa says that used to be the qualification for Fresno, but I think they took it out because it was hard to get girls.
Yeah, so I can totally understand that. And that's why I said I think before it was a requirement, and I actually like that. But with the times changing now, I think it's much harder to recruit women who want to compete. So I can see how they would take that out and not make it a requirement anymore.
My Sean says there was one year all the winners from different states did go compete in Fresno for Miss Hmong.
Yeah, see, I think I remember that. That was like
yeah, that would be really cool. But again, I think because a lot of the organizations, like, we talk about organizations supporting the girls, but sometimes the organizations themselves don't have the infrastructure to even ban y'all. And so it's all like volunteers, and then people burn out, and then you get these one-time things that makes it hard for it to continue growing and like sustaining itself, because that would be really cool to see that, and to make the girls feel like, okay, I get this little platform, and now I get this big platform, and now I'm going to get more support and things like that.
I agree.
I like this one. Kalia says there should be at minimum one round where Hmong should be required to speak. This can alleviate some anxiety with Hmong speaking, but at the same time not completely shift away from the language. I do like that.
I like that, Kalia. I agree. Because and I'm sad about that. I'm trying, because now my kids can't communicate with my mom.
Yeah.
She's over there talking Hmong, and they're like, "What are you saying?" You know, they make faces at her. And I am really sad about that. And it is my fault. But Queen blame me like body. Queen blame like tan thôi. Tôi chỉ có hiện là do của chấm nhiều là hay là mi cá đâu ta lý hết. It's tough, but yeah, we can all do better at that.
Yes. Okay, let's we've been doing a lot of audience. Let's go back to
I know, because everybody just has so much questions.
We will come back to it. Let's go to some of the actual post comments. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did we just get one?
Yeah.
And it's like 59 minutes. I was worried that we were not going to have enough to say. And I guess we were called all that talk for a reason, right?
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the swimsuit one. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
So Chadsworth said, swimsuit should be added, asking for a friend. Funny you should say that, Chadsworth, because right before we went on live, I was telling Callie about the swimsuit. So they actually did add a swimsuit round for many years, actually. I think the furthest one that we were able to find on YouTube, just doing a quick search, was like back in 2010, 2011. And then I think they went away with it. I don't think that there was any last year or this year. So I'm not exactly sure why they took it away. I'm not exactly sure why they even added it, but it was there before. So just an FYI, if you go onto YouTube and search like Hmong pageant swimsuit round, a bunch of stuff would pop up for you. But what are your thoughts about that, Callie?
Yeah, because I mean, pageants itself, you know, like I said earlier, I just don't really feel like people should be judged on looks. And then I think because people's bodies are part of that, you know, and because I just feel like sometimes it gets so like sexualized and biased because of that. Like it makes me feel like I don't really want to like.
And there are so many perverted people out there too. You know, it makes it very uncomfortable. But Tamara says that swimsuits were removed because it was seen as ji zhong shai ji
to the elders.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, you know, in some ways, I wouldn't want women to feel like they cannot be proud of their bodies, no matter how it looks like, or that they should be ashamed of their bodies, right? Like, just like when I think about like women with like larger chests and then feeling like they have to, you know, like it's still like those are still feeding babies one day, kids, you know? So I think that like in some ways it's like we shouldn't be ashamed of the body that we have, no matter like, you know, what its shape, or if somebody feels like our bodies are too provocative, or, you know, like things like that. And so in some ways I feel like we shouldn't be ashamed of that. We shouldn't feel like, because, you know, if a woman has a more you know, like developed body, like she shouldn't be seen as you know, like I think that in that way, like I would want the swimsuits to come, right? Because it's just like that is still a person's body, and they should be happy and proud of their body, and not feel like, oh, I can't show my body. But at the same time, it's kind of like I do not like the thought of like some, like we said, some of these are young, you know, younger people, and you know, it is a little bit perverted to feel like there's old people looking at, you know, and you know, I know that Mika people, we don't even know who's watching at home, and the, you know, crazy people watching from home. But I think, you know, in some ways it's like, it's good for us to have that. And in some ways it's also not good.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. What question do you want to do?
So let's see.
We obviously cannot go through every single one, so you're just gonna have to pick.
There was a lot of good ones. Oh, okay. So Manya had said, what I dislike most about Hmong pageants, how long they're dragged out through the days. Really, can we just make this a 1 day, 3 to 4 hour event? I know my Hmong people can't get it all in 2 hours, but dang, 3 days and scattered hours throughout the days. These poor Hmong contestants are exhausted waiting for their time to get on stage. So unproductive. And we did follow up and ask, like, you know, do you know this as a fact? And she said, yes, all contestants I've spoken spoken to feel and voice their concerns. Think about it. Many pay for makeup artists and hair. Additional days equals more money. Plus, after the winner is crowned, there is little time left to parade around New Year, enjoy their victory. Most are rushing back home to work or school because the pageant took up all their time. I felt like one year, what are we going to watch the pageants last year? And I felt like it was kind of the timing was kind of.
Well, we were at our booth all year. I mean, all day, girl. We didn't see anything. But the year before,
the first,
year before, I don't remember what we were doing, but you weren't able to come. You were doing something with one of your other friends, and my husband and I, and Sing, our friend Sing from Merced, we sat down and watched the pageant for like a good 2 hours, but it took them like a whole hour to start. You know, and it was the one year where the coordinators were newer, and it was kind of chaotic. So it was tough because you know the timing is, and you know, while that's happening, so many other things are happening at the same time. So it's like if you don't have someone competing, or that's just not your thing, you're not even going to waste your time, because you're only going to be there for like the talent round, and then solo, right? Like they're playing music or having someone come chopping or whatever, and you're just really there for the pageant. So I do agree with her. I feel like I would love it if they could compile that into like a one-day thing, and just be done and over with, so then the winner can actually walk around the new year and greet people and heck network, you know, build whatever she needs to build to kind of accomplish her goals. I think that's important. So I do agree with her in that sense. Okay. Do we want to go back to a couple of these comments before we end?
Yes. Let's see. Was there one that... Ooh, okay. Hi. I want to read this. So this is just a thought, and let me know your thoughts on this as well. Wouldn't it be nice for the 18 council community to also include the pageant winner in the round table when making decisions or rules in the Hmong community? That'll be one way to get them involved more with the community and also give them more responsibility and authority. I do like that because, you know, I think in spaces where the elders can mentor the younger people and also help them to learn about, you know, like, just like, you know, the culture and decision making and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. But I mean, no hate, but even regular people can get into it, so I don't know how they're going to feel about that. Sorry, again, no hate.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I had a thought and then I forgot what I was going to say.
So my said, I don't know much about the Hmong pageants, but what are the vision and mission? Seems like it's more for entertainment purposes. If there isn't much that follows the actual event from either the organization or a winner. So I know, like in our original comment, like Michael had said that they were really just a way to get people to come to attract public attendance to the New Year event. It has never been a standalone event. It's often a rush job by whoever gets put into the pageant committee. So again, I don't know if that is true. And I mean, even the New Year, right? Like the purpose of the New Year and like the cultural stuff. And I'm not saying this to like, you know, because I know that again, the New Year's and the pageants are so dependent on like volunteers and their time. And it's not like it's, you know, probably paid, and it's people just trying to do it, you know, at night, on the weekends, whenever they can. And so I know that everybody who does the New Year's and pageants and stuff, like they're really trying, you know, their best. But I do feel like it is, you know, like finding people and making sure that there are people who can take the time to continue that. But again, I think with volunteers and burnout rates and stuff like that, it just is not.
Yeah, I think being a volunteer is really tough for those types of work. Oh, I knew I was going to say, Kelly, when you talked about the Go Yising stuff, I was going to say that I agree with that comment, but I also feel like Go Yising has its own work to kind of get through, because I feel like every town has a Go Yising, and we really just need to have a unified one,
right?
Maybe a representative from each state or something. I don't know, but
yeah.
It would be nice to kind of collectively have one group and have her be a part of that conversation. But I think it's tough when you've got like, Go Yising in Minnesota, you've got Go Yising in Wisconsin, and all the other cities that have a good population of Hmong people trying to create their own, makes it tough.
Right. It's like two organizations that are still figuring stuff out, trying to. So Sophia asked, how do you feel judges of other races are integrated into the process?
I think it's tough. How do I feel about them being integrated in? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, because, and I only say that because I guess, what is the purpose of our Hmong pageant? Right? Like, is it, I mean, I don't know, because if you bring someone else in where they don't understand our culture, our language, it makes it very hard, I feel like. But I don't know. I feel like the big question is, what do we want from all of this?
Yeah.
And if that is to, I don't know what the outcome is, but I guess that really, for me, determines whether I feel okay with another person of a different ethnicity or background to come in and be a judge.
Yeah, I think it would have to be somebody who is familiar with the culture and like our people. Yeah. And then if it is that, the only volunteers are related people, then I feel like there is a reason to have people that are unrelated who might be of a different race, but are truly interested in the community. Because there are people like that, right? Like people, other Haining who do love our culture, want to know our culture and understand our culture, and sometimes even speak better Hmong than, us. And so I think that, there are folks like that who are wanting to judge, and that we don't have anybody else who is, unrelated.
I mean, I feel like, like, if they understand our culture, and they're respectful, I think I'm okay with that. I think it's just more of like someone who's like, don't understand anything.
Right.
That I don't know how that I would sit with that, but I guess we won't know until we do it.
So somebody says, my Go Ching says, I believe St. Paul Hmong New Year and Madison Hmong New Year switch out all their judges every round. Seems to be fairer this way to not be biased.
Yes, that's a great idea.
But I kind of think it's nice to have like the consistency,
Yeah, but at the same time, you think about, all the issues that's been happening. I'm not against that. I think it's great to try out new things. Okay. Let us know how that worked out.
Yeah. So some people did say that they did see that video. Oh, yes. She wants to go to be with General Bang Pao and go to war with the lost people. And she said it like that.
Okay. Now I'm going to have, Kelly, now you're really going to have to find that video and send it to me. I'm very curious on what she said, and just kind of like her people's reaction to her answer.
And that was in the 80s. So I think it was very fresh, and it was really cute. Like, just
people
like
probably were cheering her on if it was fresh.
Yeah, like her energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Tamara says, definitely a funny video, but for that time, the war is very fresh for us, Mom. You can hear her anger, and the crowd's response had a lot of uplifted anger in it as well.
Yeah, I can totally see that happening.
Let's see. Is there something? Prince Charming. What did I call it, Tamara? I think I still call it Prince, or did I call it Mr. Charming? Sorry.
I don't remember. We'll have to go back and listen.
Oh, what stereotypes did you guys have about pageant contestants? No one get butthurt. We would love to hear your answers, please. If you guys, honestly, I think because like I do feel like it's part of our culture. I do feel like I don't have like stereotypes about, you know, because I do feel like there can be good from like entering pageants, and I do feel like if you can have a platform and you have a bigger thing that you want to do, then, you know, totally do it.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
What about before?
Before,
like social media. You don't have a platform then.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like, because my dad, to honest, I called it Hmong Prince. Hey, that's a pretty
thing.
That's a pretty good name too, Hmong Prince, right? Did I really say Hmong Prince?
I mean, it's the same thing as Prince Charming.
Yeah, I guess you know, I don't know if I really have given it a lot of thoughts, again, because like I'm the only girl in my family, and so like being pretty and like doing all that stuff was not something that I was big into growing up. So I don't have a lot of exposure to that. I mean, I did just watch like I mean, as a family, we always watch like, you know, the Miss Universe and like the beauty pageants and stuff like that. And like the, you know, Mika's ideal of what beauty was and things like that. But you know,
I remembered like, I don't know what year. I don't know how old I was. I remembered I went to, we were still living in Merced, and we went to go watch the pageant. And I remember this one chick, she sang Mariah Carey's song Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if she was good or not, but I was just so inspired by her. I don't remember her name, but that was when I was really like, I think I would like to compete one year, but you know, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But I remember being really inspired by watching her speak and her just sing that song with so much conviction that I was like really inspired by that, such a little age. And so I feel like, you know, it takes a lot of courage for people to go up there and put themselves out in the world for people to judge and critique, you know? So I don't know. I don't have anything negative to say about that. I just think it takes a lot of courage for someone to do that. Whether you are a winner or not, or whether you place first or last, I think it still takes, like, I am very proud, and I think takes a lot of courage, again, like I said. So I have nothing to say about all of that. So
yeah, because it does, you know, like the discipline, right? Like even like, you know, if you're, I mean, I don't even know what kind of things you do to prepare, but like if you had to like, you know, work out or like watch your skin or like take care of your hair, take care of your body, like take care of your mental health, like, you know, prepare, like speaking, like those are all such like great skills to have that we forget that there are a lot of things that they're learning along the way that's going to really help them. And that's not really just, it's not like easy to just stand up there and like be able to walk that way and talk that way and look that way, right? There's still a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah 100%.
Tammy asked, coming to Fresno Hmong New Year? I am not. Are you?
No, I think the last 2 years Callie and I have been there, and we're gonna take a break this year.
We are not, Tammy, but
maybe next year.
We're looking forward to your videos. I saw your stack Hmong New Year videos, and they are hilarious. So please go, and please keep those videos coming.
Yes. Yeah, maybe next year, girl. Not this year.
Oh, I like this. What do you guys think about having a fan vote in addition to the judges' votes? I think that would be kind of cool.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I had thought that maybe it was just in my head. I had thought someone had implemented that one year, but it may be just in my head.
Yeah. And again, I think probably like coordination and y'all like you more volunteer. Not that. So I don't know if they're gonna have somebody who can like do the fan votes as well.
Yeah.
But I think
you know, Kelly, there's so many different apps out there now that people can use to do a fan vote, you know, like because people are doing it everywhere, like just like a lot of like the singing competitions, you know, like it's open for voting and people can text, call. I feel like we could do that too for fan vote. So I think that they should really try to implement all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are part of any, like consider that, because I think that would help people to feel and like part of that process too, right? Because I feel like when you watch a contest like that, like you start like being invested in it and cheering for it and like supporting, them. And like if you feel like your voice could be heard as well in your votes. And I feel like that would be that would be really cool. Speaking of that, do you remember I think you had shared something about voting for Miss Universe, but then you have to pay, right? Wasn't
money
it?
to vote. Yes.
Yeah. So that kind of sucked because it is like based on money. And I think when there's money involved, it is, there's just that kind of tinge to it that makes it feel like because the people that I mean, this is a universe, right? And so it's just like even though you might feel like it's cheap, other places might not be cheap for them to vote.
But I wonder though, like if that money goes towards that person's, purpose and effort. Because I think if it did, I would have no problem donating and you know what I mean? And voting for them to give them money.
Right.
But I think for me, it's more of just like, is that money going to the organization or is that money going towards the, whoever that misses is, whatever their cause is, and to kind of help them accomplish their goals. So I think a little transparency would have really helped with voting.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Go New says, I agree with that the Minnesota pageant this past week ending until after 10 p.m. I don't understand why crowning has to happen so late. No one's left to cheer and enjoy that moment. Oh, that is so true. That is like all the effort that it's good to be able for us to like, celebrate and cheer with the winner and all the efforts and the folks that have helped them to get there too. Like that's a lot of work that basically fall on, and so that's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I must say though, that one year, I was sharing earlier when I watched and man, there were so many people there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, my heart was racing. And I think from what I can remember, I think she did win. So now I got to really go back and see who won, who sang that year and won. But yeah, I think it's so different from what it was back then. I think back then there was no social media, but I felt like there was a lot more people going to watch and support. And now, kind of like what she was sharing before, it's after 10 p.m. Just you want to yawn though now.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Is there anything else that we wanted to cover?
God, we can go on this topic for days, you guys.
Hour 21 minutes.
know. I didn't feel like we would get a lot of people tuning in or just kind of talking through this with us, but I don't know if we've even added any value, to be honest, just us throwing stuff around. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and just engaging with us. I love these types of conversations where and then it makes us feel really good, you guys. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Yes.
Let's see. What is that? Okay, so what is your favorite round to watch in Hmong pageantry, and which round do you think is the hardest? Ooh. I always feel like I enjoy the talent round. Only tolot walabong. If it's anything else that I don't know, because this is me back then. I don't really watch pageants anymore, but I really enjoyed the pageant round back then. But I always feel like the hardest is the final question round. So,
and that's what I like to. That would be what I would, because I think it's more than just like looks. Like I do want to hear what they have to say and like what they, like why they want to win and stuff like that. And so I would say that's, what would, and I think originality and not so cookie cutter is nice to hear, because then you get their personality and you get to see who they are as a person, and I feel like that, like if they would represent, their state, well.
Yeah. I think for me, it's definitely those two. Because sometimes like your question, which I think isn't fair. I think I've seen it in the Miss USA or somewhere where they all get the same question, that last final question. I I always remember feeling the anticipation in the Hmong pageants where draw a question, and then the person would read it in Hmong, and then one person would translate it in English, or they would say it in English and one person would translate it in Hmong.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some of those questions are like so dull. I'm like, really? This is a stupid question.
They should let me ask one of my questions.
Yeah.
What temperature do you put your house at? Can you imagine that?
Oh my goodness. How do you know? How do you know if that's a good answer to your question? Sometimes I just feel like those questions are so stupid.
Yeah.
And then some are actually really like hard, so you just don't know what you're going to pull out of that jar.
Yeah.
So
Tri says, love the discussion. Sai told me to do a Miss Hmong universe, get all the winners and from each state and do a final pageant.
I've been seeing that float around.
What was that? Oh, for Chai to do that, or?
Okay, so I've been Chai, all of you watching, I had thought I saw someone put something out there about a Miss Hmong universe happening in Vegas somewhere.
I do remember seeing that. But I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay, I remember. It was just really recent, like maybe weeks ago, that someone had posted something along that line. So Chai, that was you. Callie and I would love to be a judge.
Yes, please. Honestly, do it. We will come support you. Seriously.
As a judge.
Yes. That would be so, honestly, Chai, I think you are the man to do it.
Yes.
I think you're very skilled and
send the elevator back down.
Yes. And you're very skilled at creating like events and bringing the right people into the right room. And so I just feel like you're the man to do it.
And you have the right connection. So Lindsay Ying Law, I think you have the right connection to help support this person's platform and cause,
Yes.
You are absolutely the person to do it. But if it's not you who's sending all this stuff out, posting, then I wonder who it is, because I do remember seeing it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I had thought I saw someone posted something about how they're competing and asking for sponsorship too. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw something.
Yeah. And if you have written me and asked for a sponsor,
same.
Sorry, I will write you back. Sorry.
Yes, same. I've gotten a couple of emails and DMs about sponsorship. Yeah.
Please always follow up.
Yeah.
So her says, OMG, that 1 year Minnesota pageant asked a math question.
That's a store question.
That's just kind of mean. Why are you gonna ask a math question in a pageant? Come on now.
My son can probably win if that was a question.
That's kind of
That's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess so.
All right. So again, where do we go from here? No idea.
This is not a planned, well thought out a show. Kelly and I really just thought, man, there's just so much tea happening right now regarding this, and there's just so much stuff out there regarding pageantry lately, and we just wanted to kind of come on and, I don't know, just chat about it. But I think one thing that we could do from here on out is support our people. I think we hear a lot of people talking about how winners don't do their stuff and deliver what they promise. Part of that is our fault too. I think we have to take accountability for that. I'm guilty. I'm one of those people. So if you see them with a calendar, purchase one. Those funds are going to go towards their cause, right? So whatever it is you see them doing, I think it doesn't hurt, whether that's a share on Facebook or share on Instagram or TikTok or whatever social platform you're on. A share is free and it helps. So I think, doing that to kind of help them get the word out and support whatever it is that they're doing. I think that's one thing that we can all be better at doing. So I think the takeaway for me here is to do that. And then also to volunteer to be a judge. If you don't want other people to be a judge that is related, and if you know that you don't know anybody, volunteer. Yeah.
Yep. So true. Yeah. I think a lot of times it's easy for us to sit back and like talk about how this could be better, that could be better. And I think, I think that, if we feel like we have something to add, then, like definitely step up and offer your time, your expertise. It doesn't have to be, like you being physically there. Sometimes it's just people need the money to hire the right people in place. And so if you feel like you are able to contribute and help and support, and then, attending and watching these girls and just, continuing to like be better and be part of the solution, instead of just, like
Yeah, agree.
Okay. All right, that is pretty much all. Again, there's just so much happening in the pageant world with, our very own Pageantry winning Miss Laos, and so we're really excited to watch her continue her progress in competing in the next rounds.
New Orleans.
Yes. And then all of the pageants that are happening as well. And I think it's a perfect time, again, just to be reminded of how we can continue to support and help our people. And so that is pretty much it. We will be on next week, and so we'll be posting that up. So please tune in. And again, shares, likes, comments, reacts are all free.
Yeah.
So please do help us share. Please do help us stay engaged. And that is pretty much it.
And I'm not going to lie, you guys, there's something going on with our Facebook page. So, the more you engage with us, it'll kind of let us know what's happening. We're trying to figure the numbers out. But, I think, like Hallie said, continue to like, share, comment.
Yes.
It'll help us out.
Yes. All right. That is it. We will see y'all next week. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.